Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of actually, it's bi-weekly right now, bi-weekly webinars, workshops that we are talking about Clay, RevOps. We're talking about GTM, automation, and fundamentally how we can help you understand how you can deliver more leads, find revenue leaks, and solve it using automations and AI native solutions. So, how are you doing, Marcos?
Hey, man, I'm good. Excited for this one. I'm sad that we don't have our piano player today. The last event, we had Rafa playing piano at the intro. It was interesting to start, but today no musicians, no music. So we cut to the chase.
Think so. Probably next time we can play some music. I can use my guitar. You can play some music using your console. So that'll be another interesting idea. Anyways, happy to have you all. Let us know where you're coming from. If you are in the States, if you are in Europe, mariachi band, that would be great. That would be great. Although I know how to play the guitar, I don't have the mustache, to play like a mariachi. So next time, we are going to be covering today a really interesting topic for us. That is our main framework of how we can help clients, how we're helping clients actually to deliver more leads, find these revenue leaks, and automate their full GTM and RevOps system in a way that they have control over the system, but the system works for them and they don't work for the system. Like most of the cases that someone start building a workflow on Cloud Code or even on Clay that requires a lot of maintenance. In this case, once you design something that works as a system, the maintenance, it's different, it takes less time, and it's more robust, and you can scale up by adding different signals, different databases, and make it more effective for you. But the thing is that it's going to deliver more results and can scale up faster. So for the ones that don't know who we are, with Marcos, we have been running a lead gen agency from like 6 years ago, 5 years ago, actually. And then we started using Clay. And in the process, we start coaching and helping clients to do the same things like delivering leads at scale, being able to process leads for outbound sequences at scale as well. One transformation that we've seen across all that is that after a while, after deploying like different workflows, you start noticing that a system is needed to actually make all the workflows that works independently work together in a way that you can scale it. So right now we are consider ourselves GTM and RevOps architects that are helping deploy system, not only workflows, through done-for-you services, consulting services, and coaching services as well. We have helped a lot of companies in the B2B space implement Clay in the last few years. And also we're running these training events, and we have more than 4,000 community members in across all of our channels. Newsletter, Slack, and our LinkedIn accounts as well. So we are here to talk to you about how you can start transforming your GTM and RevOps into a system that can scale. So that's the topic for today. And our promise for you is that you get a full understanding of what is a GTM intelligence system, the 5-layer architecture behind predictable pipeline. That is what we're building, and a realistic picture as well of how to implement all that. You're going to see it working, and you're going to see the design as well behind it. And we're going to be also solving your questions that you can leave it on the chat. So anytime that you have a question, please use the chat. We're going to be happy to answer those questions. But I have a question for you first. That is, how many of you can tell me exactly which companies in your total addressable market had a relevant activity this week? Take a moment, think about it. Most of the companies that we have worked with doesn't have clarity about this. Another question that we are used to ask our clients in the beginning is how many tools you're using to run your GTM and RevOps. And in so many cases, we have seen tech stacks of over 10 to 15 different tools working all together. But are you experiencing as well the same issue here that they like having a scattered tech stack? A lot of different tools, but they are not talking to each other. If that's the case, probably a system will make sense for you. The difference between a system and a workflow is that a system have a lot of workflows inside it and connects different outputs of the workflows into a revenue machine that can deliver leads on time, can trigger actions, and can improve overall on time as well. So, for example, there's a case of an old client that he was about to purchase uh, 12 different Apollo subscriptions for the reps. And before he do that, we had a meeting with them and we let him know that actually he didn't need as many subscriptions to do it. He just need one Apollo subscription to enrich the data and then deliver the leads through a sequence or through a Slack channel for the reps to activate them.
He was about to he was about to purchase all these licenses, and he was also complaining that he didn't have the budget for Clay because it was expensive. So then I said, like, tell me how much you're going to spend on these 12 licenses. Just keep one for enrichment purposes and integrate it into Clay and centralize the enrichment operations and free up so much time from your reps as well.
Yeah. So it's not only about connecting tools, it's also about running it smoothly and in a way that you can save a lot of money instead of investing in more seats into these SaaS subscriptions. Just for you to know, related to cost, on average, probably if you're running a small SDR team, you might be wasting like 45 hours per month in list building, manual research, finding out who to target, what to tell them, what recent news you have from them to actually deliver a message and then call them or whatever workflow that you have for your reps. So that's a lot of time. That's a lot of time. If you have someone that manage that for you, like a demand gen leader, that will cost you K year. And that's also a lot of money to invest to if after he leaves the company, you don't have any system behind it. You need also to consider that probably in the first 2 or 3 months, he will be ramping up the process, trying to understand your company and start deploying some experiments. So in those cases, the system is a better solution because you can save a lot of time, you can save money, and you can deliver results faster. So what I'm going to tell you is that the problem is not a headcount problem. It's not adding more reps. It's not hiring a demand gen leader. It's an architecture problem. Probably your systems are not working together. They are not talking to each other. They are not feeding leads properly, qualified enough for your needs. They are not creating the messages that your reps need to send to the leads. They are not alerting the reps on time. So there are a lot of bottlenecks and a lot of problems that you might be facing that you can solve it with a correct system. If that's your case, you are in a good stage right now because we're going to talk about how you can solve it. Our solution that we are going to propose you today is called the Revenue Tornado. The way that we structure the system is based on all of our previous experiences with different clients, that we standardize a process that we know that works for almost every type of company. So the first process in the implementation of that Revenue Tornado system is mapping your whole TAM. If you are the CMO of a company and you don't have the correct mapping of your TAM, probably you're missing the mark targeting leads that are not qualified, running ads on demographics, but not to the correct leads, and probably delivering the wrong leads to the sales team. So that's the first step that you should do, and it takes time to actually realize which type of leads you should aim for. But I have a good news for you, that is probably if you're using a CRM, you can extract all the leads that have booked a meeting with you, all the leads that have closed a deal with you, and make an insight report to actually capture the qualification criteria for the best leads possible for your system. Based on that, you can actually map the TAM. And once you have the TAM of accounts or companies, you can find their decision makers. And that's also important because if you're targeting leads that are not the decision makers, even if they are champions, the sales team won't be happy addressing people that are not taking the lead. So you should map the decision makers. And once you map them all together, we're going to start capturing signals related to those leads and tier them up based on signals, tier them up based on different criteria that might be customized to your company. So, for example, if a lead is working for a company that have the tech stack that you need to actually make a sale, that is there in the region that you want to pursue, has the revenue range that you are expecting to aim for, that would be a qualified account. And if you find a decision maker like the CMO of that account, that's a qualified decision maker. But once you have the list of all the decision makers, you can actually track back how many of them have reacted to your content, how many of them have visited your website, how many of them have engaged with your competitors, how many of them have published a job post recently, have an expansion plan published recently. And there are many, many triggers or signals that you can capture all together and use them to understand the situation of the different leads. Once you have it, you can route them to different campaigns, and each campaigns have a different goal. We're gonna go over it as well. And then you can connect it to the CRM to maintain everything in a centralized source of truth.
I would
So
like to
this is
ask
kind of the story here.
audience,
Sure.
many of you are already leveraging and activating the signals. We see also lots of clients that have the RB2B subscription, like they have, I don't know, On Fire, Sixth Sense, whatever, data insight or signal provider, but they don't end up using it or like leveraging it for accelerating sales or spotting revenue opportunities. So what where are you in terms of signals? Have you used them? You're trying to start to use them, or you're already using them? That would be my question for the chat if you want to share.
That's a great question. We have another question from Rob in the meantime that we can answer. Which signals works nowadays? So it depends on the company. There are a lot of signals that might be worth it, but it depends who you're targeting, what you're selling. So, for example, if you are in the B2B market, probably LinkedIn, oh, you're answering LinkedIn engagement. Of course, LinkedIn engagement is really useful because if you're selling to B2B, probably all your decision makers will be on LinkedIn, or at least more than 50% of them. So you can track their behavior, like what are they reacting to, who are they following. You can also track if they are commenting on any type of post. You can track if their profile is already filled up. There are a lot of things that you can track to really understand the behavior of the market. And depending on what you're selling, you can actually create a qualification criteria for you. For LinkedIn engagement, it's a really good one. Job post, it's another interesting one to track the company situation. Expansion plans is another one, product launches, and all the inbound signals as well are really interesting. Like if they visit your website, if they engage with your newsletter, if they are part of your webinars, and so on. All those signals can be merged together into a system to qualify the leads based on the signals. So this is how the system looks like. I don't want to overwhelm you. We're gonna show you an example later, but as you are seeing here, and probably you won't understand it because it's really small. All those orange boxes are external databases that you can connect to Clay. Like for example, you can extract LinkedIn reactions, you can connect your CRM, you can connect a newsletter platform, you can connect any job post capture platform, and so on. Once you capture the data, you can send it into another table that you can centralize the qualification for companies. If you're missing any data, you can qualify the company, find leads for that company. And since you have connected your CRM, and that's an important piece of the system, you can also track back all the blacklists, differentiated by the stage on your funnel, if they have booked a meeting with you, if they are the competitors, and so on. And once you have it all, you can tag them accordingly based on the actions that you track from different signals that you're capturing. So every time you made a condition to run a campaign, like for example, if a lead is aware of a brand, and also if ready to buy, you can send it to a sales type of campaign. But if a lead is not aware of the brand, neither it's buying right now, you should let them know that you exist first. So those are different type of campaigns that we are tracking. So the system works in a sequential way. As we spoke, we assess the time, we find the qualified leads, detect the signals, and then we activate the campaigns and send it to the pipeline. That's kind of the general process. and we have different type of campaigns depending on the type of lead. In the beginning, in order to map the TAM, you probably have like the full market, and you will have conditions to actually qualify a company and qualify a lead. So based on that qualification, I just put a score system here because it's general for every type of company. But in your case, you should create your own qualification criteria. And once you qualify the companies, you will have the TAM. And once you have the TAM, you can tier them up based on the products that you sell to them, based on the value that you can provide to them, based on whatever condition that you want to disaggregate and send it to different types of campaigns. And you should also build a blacklist to avoid reaching out to leads that are currently in your pipeline, competitors, and so on. The second stage that we discuss is defining that qualification based on, is a company match your ICP, which tier they belong to, if they are blacklist or not, if they are right buyer persona. All those questions should be solved and addressed before deploying the system. You can also create a tiering system that is really interesting to help you provide more value or prioritize leads that can give you more value over time. So, for example, if you're targeting an enterprise client, that type of client should give you like a better ROI compared to a small company in most of the cases. So, if an enterprise client reacts to your content and start following you, you should prioritize that lead over the other type of leads. Once you qualified all the leads, you can start tracking signals. These signals are some of the signals that we have been discussing, like if they're following your LinkedIn page, reacting to your content, reacting to your competitors' content, if they have published a new job post. And there are many, many other signals that you can track, like comments, if you are commenting with them and they react to your comments, inbound signals like newsletter subscription, webinar attendees, website visitors, signals related to other social medias like Reddit or GitHub. There are many ways of scoring this. It depends on your company, what it is really relevant for you. But once you nail it, you can create a system that can categorize leads that are qualified in 4 quadrants. The first one is a lead that is not a worthy brand, neither is buying right now. So those leads are cold. You should let them know that you exist. Those leads don't know about you. They are not even looking for a solution, but you need to make them aware that you have this solution, that they might have that problem later. So once they are looking for a solution, they will consider your offer. Then we're gonna have like the leads that are in the market looking for providers, but they don't know who you are. So those leads are really interesting to activate first, let them know faster, give them upfront value, and provide them all the materials that you have to actually speed up the process to make them trust you so you can sell them. And then we have leads that are aware of you, of your offer, of your company, of your brand, but probably they are not buying it yet. So for those leads, you can continuously nurture them. So when they are in the buying stage, they go to this box that is the sales ready leads that you should alert your sales team to reach out to them immediately. So those are the 4 type of campaigns that you should have running. Most of the companies are just running cold outreach campaigns. Some of them are running some nurturing campaigns and cold outreach campaigns, but not many companies are actually running sales ready or in market type of campaigns. That's why the system is really important, because you can differentiate them based on a unified criteria and then start reaching out to the correct leads in the correct timing. Awesome. Does our B2B or alternative in Apollo able to return accurate full name, LinkedIn URLs or emails? I mean, turn website visitors into the ready data for outreach? Yeah, they do provide full name, LinkedIn URLs, in some cases emails as well. But there's a thing here, there's a catch, that using those providers, you can only de-anonymize visitors from the US, and the coverage from provider to other provider might be between 20 to 35%. There are tools that can help you create like a waterfall of the anonymization. Like Clay has their own process, their own waterfall that runs and de-anonymize, running different providers like RB2B, Vector, Clearbit, and so on. And that increase the likelihood of getting a lead de-anonymized. But even in those cases, some leads might not be qualified for you. So you need to run a qualification process for those leads in those cases too. I hope that solves your question, Vadim. Let's say you have a qualified lead visiting your website. And if that lead is visiting your pricing page, that lead might come into this bucket of in market leads or even sales ready leads if they have shown you a previous engagement with your brand. So if they come to these buckets, you should reach out to them immediately through a LinkedIn DM, cold calling, or a direct outreach, or handing them off to an SDR to actually prospect them. But since you already have the background of the lead, you already know what they are interested into. You can create a best case to present it to them and sell them your offer. So that's kind of the process here, and this is how it looks like when it's working. Every day you're gonna be capturing new signals, so your team will see this every morning, every time that they're sitting on their sequence tool, on their LinkedIn inbox, they will receive an alert depending if they're using Outreach, Get Sales, HeyReach, whatever tool that they're using to sequence. If a lead is ready to engage and it says ready, you should send them an alert right away to reach out to them and convert them. If they are engaged, let's say they're in the market, but they haven't shown you any brand awareness recognition yet, you should engage with them also. But the angle is different. For the first one, they already know you. So if you're talking about your solution, you don't need to go really deep into explaining who you are and what you're calling because they know you. But in the other case, you should let them know who you are and you should provide them value to actually make them trust you. So the system works automatically in this way. So you can decrease the time that you are reaching out for new leads. You can decrease the time, recover that time and invest in other actions that might add more value to your company. We have another question here. What do you think about sending personalized video when they are in market or sales ready? That's a great option. I think that it depends on who you're targeting, of course. If you're targeting someone that doesn't have enough time, probably sending out a video, a long video, can be overwhelming for them. You can send them a short video or just a message. But if you are targeting someone that already know you really clearly, maybe you have a previous conversation with them even, you can send them a video, probably they will watch it. So it depends on how much they know you. It depends how long is the video. But that's an interesting approach as well. You should
Yeah,
try it.
on the
There are
customer journey, it is important for the prospect to get to see your face and your voice before diving into a call. No, it dives into the call way warmer than if he never saw you before. It really depends on the scale also. Like if we're speaking about like a large TAM that you need to deliver these videos at scale, and how you're able to personalize for them is a challenge. There's also a challenge on the deliverability in case you have like a big amount of prospects to send out these personalized videos. I've heard a lot about deliverability issues. So a solution or workaround for that would be to ask them permission to send the video. So you send just a short message with using the context that you already have and asking them if they want to watch your video, and you send a personalized video reacting to the positive replay.
That's a great tactic. Of course, it depends on the company who you are targeting. So, I mean, we don't have like a standard recommendation here. It depends on a lot of conditions. Of
That
course,
the what we can say, no matter the company or the industry, is that for the leads that are more ready, you can be more aggressive, especially if they know you. So maybe on the aggressiveness is the variable.
yeah, yeah, that's a clear thought. For example, if you're reaching out to someone that already have a previous conversation and they know you, probably, as I was mentioning, probably they will open the video, they will open any document that you send to them. But if it is a first approach, the likelihood of someone to open that will be lower. I built this for myself a while ago to land software consultancy clients. Awesome, Key. Let us know which results did you get with that. Happy to also know about the process and which tools you use. That would be great. Regarding the last step of the process is integrating everything back to the CRM. And we need to use a CRM to actually capture the leads that are aware of your brand, the leads that you are prospecting right now, because every time you want to know what is the current condition of a lead, you should have like a clear path, a clear database that you can check that out. And that source of truth is your CRM. So you need to connect it back to, from Clay to the CRM, from the sequencer to the CRM. So you have the clear picture inside the CRM. You can have full attribution as well. You can analyze then later which type of campaign works better, if you need to change the parameters in terms of qualification, in terms of triggers, signals, and so on. So as a general overview, we can say that probably implementing a system like this one will be way more effective than hiring someone to do it for you, because once you implement the system will stay in the company and you can improve the system over time compared to having someone running campaigns for you manually, or even semi-automated campaigns that you need to ramp up. You need to let them know who you are targeting, how to create a copy. Once you create the system can create copies for you and can scale and learn from the approaches and keep growing. So that's something that we are seeing over time. That is, AI is getting better and better. And nowadays, you can actually use AI to analyze the impact of your campaigns and make the improvements promptly. So here's where we started. Like a few years ago, we were executing different campaigns. We were struggling to find leads from Apollo, from Sales Navigator, finding their emails, validating their emails through different tools, and reaching contact one by one. We actually have one resource, one person qualifying the leads that we get from Apollo one by one manually. And it took like a lot of time to actually deploy a campaign. And once we deploy the campaign, we ran it for a month. And the next month, we didn't have more leads to add it to the campaign. So we need to go back again and find more leads and so on. If you're struggling with the same issue that we did in the past few years, you know how it feels. It feels like really frustrating. You cannot catch up with everything, and it takes you a lot of time. And the results that you're getting weren't good enough. Like in our case, we're getting 20 to 25 connection rate, a certain rate, 5 to 15% in LinkedIn reply rate, 2 to 4 cold email reply rate, and it was like a low or average leads to meeting rate. But after a while, we started implementing the system to capture signals. And the main goal of capturing signals as well is to have a system that can feed you more leads over and over again. And if you also add to that system an automated re-engagement process to reprocess leads that you reach out to them, but they didn't engage, or they did engage, but they weren't ready to buy yet, you can create a system that actually runs evergreen, capturing all your time, sending them re-engagement process messages. So after a while, you will increase the brand awareness over the whole time, and you will have control over how many of those qualified leads are actually aware of you and your company. So that reduces the list building time to actually zero. You don't need to invest any more time into list building. And that's a relief. That's the first relief that you're going to get it. But then after running some signals, you will notice which type of signals are better to fully understand the situation of a lead. If it is showing you more buying intent, one signal over the other, you can prioritize those leads over the other ones. If you have a tiering system, you can prioritize leads that have shown you better conversion rates over time, and you will increase the lead quality over time. So it's not only that you have an evergreen system now, it also increases the results because you have better leads. And if you also combine this with a brand awareness system, like a newsletter, posting on LinkedIn, commenting on their posts, you will notice that more leads will reply you back. So that will increase the overall result, and you're gonna start having better results as we did. Like you can increase the conversion rate of connection requests on LinkedIn by 2x, the reply rate as well, not only on LinkedIn, by cold email as well. We actually have some campaigns that run for warm leads that have over 45% reply rate. That's crazy for cold leads, of course. But if you're targeting people that know you with an offer that they want, you can have like better conversion rates. So you can reduce the time on list building, you can reduce the time for outreach, and that's a lot of benefit that you can scale it up for your whole company. It will make a lot of sense. Now, let me show
Yeah,
you how it looks like.
also it's interesting to talk about what do you do instead if the system is handling all these tasks. So basically, you focus on expanding the system. you focus on optimizing the system, but you stop working on the same low impact tasks every time. Every time you need to launch a campaign, like it's frustrating, as David was saying. So yeah, that would be my comment. Also, I would recommend more ads campaigns or call outbound campaigns for awareness, commenting also, any type of piece of content that you can put in front of your target audience. And this works really well if you have an ABM approach or you have like a small TAM, and also if you have a large TAM. But I'm just trying to say that it's a system that is flexible for different sizes of markets.
All right, so this is a clay table that we have showed you in other workshops as well, but this is really powerful and we want to show you how it works because this is something that you can build your own. Of course, we can also help you to deploy something like this, but it's a system, it's not a workflow. Just wanted to highlight that because most of the cases, if you are starting using Clay, probably you won't be able to deploy a whole system at once. But once you start deploying different workflows, you can integrate all together into a system. So as you are going to see here, we have more than 49,000 leads. Actually, we have two tables that have the same process. And each record is a new lead that we qualified before. We capture those leads based on different processes. Like we use the find companies, find leads in Clay. We also use Apollo. We have used Sales Navigator, and we have used many tools to capture those leads and qualify them. Once we qualify them, that in order to do that, we use NAN to run every time the same qualification process. So we have a centralized qualification process that grabs the lead based on a webhook on NAN, check out if the lead was already qualified before, so we don't enrich it twice. If it was already qualified, we check how recently we qualified them because people change jobs. And once we have the data of a new lead, we qualify it from geographic location, job title, company size, and we have a fallback. We use as a fallback an AI agent to actually qualify and assign them a correct tier. So every time we capture a new lead, we qualify them, we centralize the qualification here. And if we want to know if a lead was already qualified, we just need to send them the LinkedIn URL to re-qualify it or to check out the tier. Once the leads are qualified, we send out those leads to this table. So we have like the full time in here, we monitoring the full time, and we're checking against different tables to know how many of them have visited our website, how many of them have been following Clay, how many of them are connected with my
I don't
account, with Marco's
see.
account. Each one of these lookups that is checking against another table is checking against actually a different workflow. So this is what I mean by this is a system, not a workflow. Is that we're combining different workflows in this table. And you can see here, for example, this is one of the workflows that is capturing LinkedIn reactions. So we're tracking our post, capture people that reacted to our post, and then we're sending those leads into this table, and we run this HTTP API call. We send it to this NAM workflow. It qualifies those leads. For example, those leads are unqualified, but these ones are qualified. And if they're qualified, we send them to that other table, and we run that for all the different sources that we have. We check against the blacklist as well. We send it to a campaign if that's a qualified lead as well. But in this case, I wanted to show you how then we can use the same ID of the lead that is a LinkedIn URL to check if they are in that other table. So in this case, we run a lookup to check if the same LinkedIn URL is on that other table. And if they are here, we tag them accordingly. So for example, we create a system that tags the lead based on the engagement that we capture. And based on that, we can send it to different types of campaigns. So it's an easy process once you nail it, because once you nail the tagging system, you can create a run condition to send it to different campaigns based on the tag that they have. If they are following you, if they're connected with you, of course, you don't want to reach out to them with a cold message because they already know who you are. But if they are not aware of who you are, you can actually send them into a nurturing sequence or a workflow that send them a cold outreach message to let them know who you are. So once you have them all together, you can qualify the leads, you can enrich their data, you can send the data back to the CRM. In this case, we store the leads also in Supabase. So that's another database provider that overcomes the issue of having 50,000 limits in Clay. And then you can send it to different type of campaigns. If it is a warm calling campaign, or let's say this is campaign 13, 12 other campaigns that depends on the signal they run. So going back in here, and let's jump in here. This is how the system works. This is how we are driving results for our company as well. And probably you can do it for your own as well. So if you want us to help you understand how you can deploy this system, how you can start getting the results that we show you, how you can start decreasing the time that you are spending on prospecting or getting leads into your funnel, I'll be happy to jump on a call with you and help you understand the impact that the system can have. So let me drop here a link for you. You can also go to our website, but this is the link if you want to book a call with us and receive our help into understanding what are the best approach possible for your company, how you can qualify leads, how you can tier them up, and so on. Awesome, guys. Hope you found value on the presentation as well. Have another question from Lucas. Is it better to use NAN or to write the code from scratch? What do you mean by that? For the qualification process, you mean? If that's the case, it depends on your skills. It also depends on how you want to handle errors. It also depends on security measures. If you create a code using Cloud Code, probably it will be difficult to kind of implement this for enterprise companies that have like robust governance and security measures. If you're deploying for your own company and you have a small company without too many requirements, probably you can do it from using Cloud Code. But NAN, it's a good solution because you can also integrate Cloud Code to NAN and use Cloud Code to deploy the solution for you. I think NAN will be a better solution because at the long run, if you have any problem, you will be able to debug it because you have the workflow there to actually look at it, play with it. It is also useful if you want to delegate the task to another member of your team later, because else, probably if you're using a custom code and you're using Cloud Code, in that case, maybe you don't know how the actually code works, and it will be difficult to actually delay that task to another member. Thank you for the feedback as well, Key. Sorry. If you have any other questions, happy to address it. We have some more minutes. How would you suggest check the company list is they have a right vacancy? I try NAN and it fails with scraping. How do you suggest check the company list is they have a right vacancy? Do you mean if they are hiring? Or do you mean if they don't have a position and they might need that position later? Or maybe you mean another thing. If they're hiring. Okay. There are different ways to do that. I would recommend you to check out the workshop that we hosted like a month ago that we discussed different ways of scraping job posts. You can use Clay Find Jobs that works in Clay. It's a source here. You have Find Jobs at these companies, but it will only run on LinkedIn jobs. Then if you want to increase the coverage, you can use Apify or you can use Centrion. Apify is a marketplace of different scraping solutions. So once you have it, select the actor that is the scraper that scrapes the particular job board that you want to scrape, you can send those results back to Clay and increase the coverage. Centrion is the tool that we discussed a month ago with Rafa, his founder. They have like the biggest coverage in the whole market because they aggregate a lot of different job boards and job career pages from different companies. So that will give you the data set, but then of course you will need to qualify the data set if, let's say, you find some job posts that have been already closed or they already fill out the vacancy. You can check if they're open. You can check their description to find out if the company is looking to hire because they are growing or because they want to replace someone on the team. They want to start adopting a new tool. That'll be another signal. So there are a lot of ways that you can use job posts to actually qualify the status of a company. In terms of NAN, I'm not sure how do you use it to scraping. I would recommend you to use Apify, Centrion, or even Clay.
Yep.
Awesome.
Me
Happy
too.
that it helps you. All right, Marcos just sent here the link to join to our Slack channel. if you want to be part of our community, we have a strong community of people that use Clay. There are GTM professionals as well. So if you have any questions, you can send it that way. We're going to be seeing it as well. Other members of our community can help you to solve the questions that you have. Anyways, it was a pleasure for me, for us, to host this webinar, this workshop for you. And we really enjoy it. I think that if it's helpful for you, it's also make us happy because we want to provide a lot of value. That's how we do it with Marcos. We bring out a lot of value to make actually people know who we are. So if you know anybody that can take a benefit of these workshops, of this type of events, I will be happy to have them and also to have a conversation with them. All right, guys, it was a pleasure. See you soon. Bye bye.